scientific breakthroughs, the unveilings, spiritual revelations, the openings. Yeah, 1, 2, 1, 2. First World Order Radio, Tips and Tricks Tuesdays. Blak Water, the META-MAJI-SHEN. It's Tips and Tricks Tuesday, another news day. North, east, west, south, west. Not here to confuse the day, just diffuse the way. Another Tips and Tricks Tuesday. That pig, that's fine. Hijacking the mind. Aluminum bonds with intelligence. Rewind the message. Merry Christmas. 13 indigenous immigrants. State of the unison. Addressing nothing. Foundations can ruin. Level to level. Fuck the embezzlements. Tales from the crypt. Hitting blood rituals. 50 scores flying over California vacation. Flying dragons. Swords and daggers. Lions and tigers. Gotta get my bearings or perish. Tear into raw flesh. Vampire, vegetarian. I'm a malnutrition. Chemically imbalanced. Ethiopian. Inhaling Kush. Blue projects get pushed. Mold with the bush. Standing on the middle line. No defining. Swirling dervish. In between space and time. Tips and Tricks Tuesday. Another news day. North, east, west, south, west. Not here to confuse the day. Just diffuse the way. Another Tips and Tricks Tuesday. Tips and Tricks Tuesday. Another news day. North, east, west, south, west. Not here to confuse the day. Just diffuse the way. Another Tips and Tricks Tuesday.
Whether you suffer from pain in your back to aches in your knees, come on down and purchase you some ancestral teas to get rid of all the parasites, toxins, and fleas. Spiritual elevation for cosmic gravitation. So put away the patience, cause there's no time to be wasted.
Ancestral teas, that's all you need. Ancestral teas, so you better believe. Ancestral teas, and it works for real. Ancestral teas, so put away your pills. Ancestral teas, that's all you need. Ancestral teas, so you better believe. Ancestral teas, and it works for real. Ancestral teas, so put away your pills.
This is a public commercial advertisement for AncestralTeas.com. All rights are reserved. Peace.
Peace to the gods. You already know, man. Yo. Bohemian wizardry, you fraud MCs be killing me. The enemy is close, we both lies on our identity. I build like he who stepped, architect like Imhotep. Son had the sun himself, the god deadly with the art. I spit darts with a slit heart. You can feel it in your bone marrow before the shit starts. Standing in the cold with a scroll that was written in gold. Behold the old glimpse that was never untold. Infinite like the 8-7 dwelling in your melon. No felon, though the unrighteous say that I'm rebellious. I'm primal, my rhyme suicidal. I worship no idols. My style of load of gems going down in a spiral. You stuck in your root. My intelligence past my cool. The God is the truth. Every time I step in the booth, you stepped on the stoop. Got scooped and swooped in my loot. Do the knowledge, whack MCs get played like flute.
It was the son of Asar, a gift from the gods. Haru flying through the sky with golden wings. Submerged into the light. Knighted by the golden king with the scepter of justice. Melanin cultivating chi until we are Ethereans. Brightly becoming one with the righteous sun. Solar, souls are raw. Magnificent glow with unconditional love. Scattered rays for days from the heavens above. Soul below, the souls is trapped in the lowest depths of hell. Incarnated into 76 trillion cells. To break free, you must be refined. Masculine and feminine properties combined.
This devil is the author of confusion. 183,000 divisions and religions. Denominations, sects, codes, schisms, and isms. Though isn't it written in the Bible that Jesus spoke in parables? parables. The scriptures and gospels aren't just historical. Many passages weren't meant to be taken literal. Most of it is allegorical, based on esoteric principles. Baptist versus Methodist, Pentecostal holiness versus Jehovah's Witness, Mormons versus Seventh-day Adventists, skeptics, atheists, and agnostics, divine and conquer tactics of the reptilians, lower fourth-dimensional aliens. So beware of the draconian Satanists. Yo, their aim is to imprison all true beings through ignorance. Yo, we crush the head of Leviathan. Battle mind control, subliminal suggestions, brainwashing indoctrinations, using religious, politics, education, economics, health and labor, entertainment and war. Yo, sex and raw. In this chessboard game, called life, we've all been pawns. Puppets on strings controlled by demonic spawns. You can't run with the devil and walk with God.
You can't run with the devil and walk with God. You can't run with the devil and walk with God. You can't run with the devil and walk with God. You can't run with the devil and walk with God. You can't run with the devil and walk with God. You can't run with the devil and walk with God.
All right. Give thanks. Another win. Another wonderful Tuesday, Tips and Tricks Tuesday here at First World Order Radio. And yep, once again, it's Blackwater, the META-MAJI-SHEN on this Tips and Tricks Tuesday. I'd like to give thanks to those that came before and those who will come after. I say, Tuahi, Wasatashi, power. Okay, and another Tuesday. It's warm out there. Fire day, you know what I'm saying? One of them Sundays, but call it Tuesday, Fire day, Mars Day, or whatever you want to call it. Been another nice couple of days. So on that hiatus for the past week, did a few things, saw a few things. Today's topic is the immortal body of the hidden light. Immortal body, AMON-RA. So we're going to go into the etymology of that first and foremost, so, we'll get a good glimpse of what that is in the, in that hidden water, that dark light of the intelligence. So what that is saying, immortal body, AMON-RA. I went over this once before, some old, some new, some broad, some blue. Which we always got to go back sometimes to see how far we came. So also with some current events that took place in the past 2 weeks, we're going to go into that. I put some pictures up on the slideshow to aware and bring that, that conscious information towards the table a little bit, but just go into what the immortal body of the hidden light and how it, in etymology as far as METAPHYSICAL is concerned, how it breaks down to Immortal, changing the L over to a R, and then body, AMON-RA. So M is there or in, moves water, or that which liveth in the water. Is light or divine being. Ta is earth, fire, to burn or flame. AR is to tie together. That's the first word. So that's the divine being that exists within the water. To tie together, I put bringing harmony to earth and fire. All right, so that's the divine being that exists within the water, bringing harmony to earth and fire. Or to bring harmony to earth, time in the earth. All right, so the divine being that exists within the water, bringing harmony to earth. And then the second word is body. Ba is the divine soul, and D means basically to give. So I said contributing. So contributing to the divine soul, and then AMON-RA is Amin is hidden, and Ra is light. So the divine being that exists within the water, bringing harmony to earth, contributing to the divine soul of the hidden light. And that is Immortal body, AMON-RA, or the immortal body of the hidden light. All right, so we're going to go into a few practical exercises or exercises on how to build and construct the immortal body of AMON-RA, or the divine being that exists within the water, bringing harmony to earth, contributing to the divine soul of the hidden light. Basically, the divine being is the soul, of course, that exists within the water. That's the physical body, which consists of 70 to 90% water. And bringing harmony to earth, that's the physical body or the physical reality externally as well as internally. And that contributes to the divine soul being the box, of course, and then of the hidden light. The hidden light is AMON-RA, or that's melanin, or you know what I'm saying? So it's the hidden light of the intelligence, the dark light. So the divine being that exists within the water, bringing harmony to earth, contributing to the divine soul of the hidden light, is who you are. In essence, that's who and what you are here to do is to bring harmony to earth from the internal reality by inner peace, success, and then bringing that, bridging that harmony out to the external reality, being earth, physical reality, well, by way of the hidden light, which is external and internal melanin, dark matter, and dark energy that brings forth the light of Haru. And we're going to, like I said, we're going to go over some practical exercises. But first, we're going to, well, what happened is, okay, I always got a story to tell. So what happened is, me and one of my brothers, Brother Shaif, we was out, we was filming the 8 Standing Postures. You guys can locate that on the YouTube, Dr. Aline's YouTube. I see El-Bey YouTube page, and you can check that out. It's it has 8 different postures within it. Yet the other day, okay, I had got a call. I woke up about like 12:30. I went to bed, but someone said, "Wake up!" And so I went in the kitchen. And I checked my phone. My phone was plugged up in the kitchen. So I went and checked the phone, and someone had called me. Was calling me right at that moment. It was a friend of mine that had a child at least, and she needed a ride home because she had got locked out of her mother's house or something like that. And no one would answer the door. She had her son with her out there. And it was a cold night, and I'm like, oh, boy, I'm in the bed. What you mean? Somebody, I was like, okay, I'm going to go. The spirit just got me out the bed, and whatnot. Intelligence, like, get up, check the phone. So I was like, well, it must be for a reason. So I went ahead, I picked her up, took her up to where she lives, about 10 minutes up the highway, dropped her off. But I went in and I checked. I talked to her for a few minutes, but it was like, I don't know, she into her own world or whatever, doing things, you know what I'm saying, but I didn't, it was whatever. So I was like, okay, I'm going to transfer this energy to somewhere else. So I picked up my cell phone and I started looking at the 8 Standing Postures on that YouTube page. And I was just looking at them and stuff, and then all of a sudden I got to a point, and I said, "What the heck is that light back there?" I seen the light, and I was like, "Hold up!" So I slowed it down. I kept moving it, with the phone, the gadget, the little trigger thing on the phone for rewind, fast forward. And then finally, I zoomed in on it. I'm like, man, look, that got a shape to it. It was two different pictures. 2 different times that this occurred, but finally. The next, I left and everything, went home. So the next day I got home and I got in front of my editing. I got in front of the computer where I have an editing suite where you can, mix up stuff and cut it up and all that, fast forward, slow it down, and all that. So I slowed it down to where I could really see, and then I manipulated it a little bit to where I could actually zoom in and focus on it. I was like, hold up, what is that? So I asked a few people, and everybody like, yeah, it do look like it just popped out of nowhere, then went back. You know what I'm saying? So then, I'm getting a little skeptical, like, nah, this is light reflecting off the camera, you know what I'm saying? But then, got to think about how light do exist. It does reflect, but it was bouncing only in 2 different areas, and it was only in movement. The sun was directly behind us when he was filming, so the sun was behind us, and we saw those reflections and how those different colors of the spectrum was right there. But these 2 lights just came out of nowhere, then went and dissipated, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was just coming from another dimension or something. When we actually finally sat down and dissected it and, was observing it with a keen eye like that. So then some said, hold up, I've seen this before. Where have I seen this at? And it dawned upon me, hold up, that's in the tablet. That's in the holy tablets. Point self. What's good? What's going on?
You got the tablet outside of these tissues.
Okay, that's it. Just grab a towel out of the closet. Maybe it might be some toilet paper like that or baby wipes you using. So I looked in the holy tablets, and there it was. I was like, hold on, that's the same exact, almost to the T of what this this figure that is sitting right here in front of myself from the physical. And then like I said, it dawned on me. I recall that's the human body forming a ship. Like, hold up, that's almost the same thing. So I had to, since the spirit led me to do all the other things, I had to go ahead and place it on as an F on Blog Talk. I was like, hold on, I can't just sit on like an egg, the golden goose or whatever. But in essence, that's the golden orb. That, if we go into the 8 stanza, and you recall, that's the 7th posture, or the 8th and the 6th and 7th posture. So when we go in and it's called creating or forming the golden orb. So you know what I'm saying, but that's in the Holy Tablets. In chapter 7, I'm gonna read out of chapter 7 real quick out of the Holy Tabs. If you have a copy of it. If you have one, read with me. If not, this is on page, the picture is on page 674, and it's diagram 105, the human body turning itself into a ship. What I'm going to read out of is on page 670. The divine breath, and I'm going to read for a couple of seconds out of the Holy Tabs. Holy Tabs is by Dr. Malachi Z. York. Give thanks to that brother, to the God. He's doing a lot of things even in this day and time. A lot of good information came forth from that brother. You know what I mean? Melchizedek. So, I've been reading the Holy Tabs since I was like 20 years old, so it's been a few years, and it's been a good source of information and a good source of upliftment and advancement in my life, and I know it has been in other sisters and brothers like as well. So I'm going to read this. It's the divine breath out of chapter 7, the living soul El-Hay, or El-Ha. Yeah. All right, the living soul. It states right here, as a red blood cell leaves the lungs and goes to the heart and is pumped around through the system, it throws off some of its oxygen and vitality and picks up a little more of the mental part that forms its outer wall or shell. In this way, it strengthens itself in the physical sense, but revitalizes itself as far as life force is concerned. Loses in life force it has distributed at the various capillaries in the physical form and has given strength and vitality to the physical form in this way. Eventually, the blood cell starts its journey through the veins to the heart again, and by the time it reaches the heart, it has a strong physical shell with very little life force in the center of its body. It's then a revitalized cell, and the heart sends it up to the lungs once more to receive more to the life force in the center of its body. Then it descends from the lungs to the heart to be redirected through the body on its job of distributing vitals and life. Each time the blood cell in the normal healthy body leaves the lungs and goes to the heart to steer its great job of vitality, it is a well-balanced, harmonious cell containing the proper proportions of etheric life force. But after it has gone its way, giving life force to the various parts of the body, and is ready to come back to the lungs, it is imbalanced cell. It is an imbalanced cell because its life force has left and changed the balancement. So it is important to make use of breathing exercises such as Tai Chi, to breathe in Ah, and to breathe out La, to come in contact with the spiritual self, remember this. Now you know the composition of your form of Zakar, son of Atem and Lilith. All right? I'm going to read that because, I read this back in, when I, like I said, when I first got involved with this information. But that whole sentence right here, the cell becomes imbalanced because of this life force. The life force has left and changed the balancement. So it is important to make use of breathing exercises such as Tai Chi, to breathe in Ah and to breathe out La or Allah or Yura. When we interchange that L to R, and Yura means the great light. So the great light comes in contact with the spiritual self, your etheric form. So remember this, you sons and daughters of Zakar. Remember this, you sons and daughters of Atem and Lilith. That'll be easier. So, 15 years ago, whatever that may be, I scanned through this and didn't notice Tai Chi, but yeah, that's what we're doing right there. And, the Qigong is an advanced form. Well, Tai Chi is an advanced form of Qigong. You know what I'm saying? So, when we were taking in that light, Yura, that great light, it develops and enhances the imbalancement of the cell, but it develops and enhances also the spiritual shell that's outside of the body as well through the divine breath. Instead, it states right here, Nu Elion, 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 El, the Most High, the highest put it there. There's a spiritual life force called the divine breath. Basically, that's dark matter, dark energy. So that divine breath, that dark light, the hidden light of the intelligence, helps us or assists us in building that that vessel that's external, that golden orb. The golden orb. Grandmaster Sunyata calls it, through the Tibetan mystic system, is called the golden dragon body. You know what I'm saying? The golden bell is also what it's been referred to. In the I think it's called the Virile Society, back when the Nazis was trying to reform some type of ball or something, but they did the external or the material type of this is the human body forming into a ship itself. Now, like I said, this takes place by way of the great light, or Yura, or Allah, as is explained here. And if you remember how I explained, the explanation or what's going on in that part of the Qigong is we breathe in through the solar plexus, and then we breathe out the armpits, while the arms are placed at the waist level and the hands are cupped and the fingers are going towards the hips. You can go into the YouTube page and actually see this, the 8 standing postures. I think it's called Sifu He El-Bey and the 8 standing postures. So, but that part right there is forming the golden orb or the golden aura, golden veil. That's the golden body. Now, I'm going to read this right here, too. The 4 centers, this is on page 672. I'm going to go all the way to through 673. The 4 centers of the spiritual form lay upon and thoroughly penetrate the glands of the physical form and draw in the solar energy and life force of the atmosphere and put them into the physical form by their counterparts, the physical glands. These 4 centers or seats of the light are the sockets into which the glands are plugged in order for the life force to flow into the physical form. When your body becomes ill, what has happened is the physical and the spiritual forms have somehow become disconnected. The physical is cut off from its source of life or the source of life force. Some connecting wires between the two forms have been either severed or damaged, and your inner light dulls. Your body begins filling with darkness. The cells starve for the life force, vitality, energy, and slowly die if the connection is not repaired. This goes into another section of chapter 7, the living soul, El-Hay, or El-Hay. It's called the process of healing. So how do the Anunnaki, or the angels of the green light fit into the process of healing? How are the healings manifested? What power is at work to help you regain your physical perfection? Sometimes instantly, sometimes overshadow hours, sometimes requiring longer. The great healing force which operates under the direction of the subconscious mind is available to everyone. It is a life force which, if properly directed, could keep perfect every physical form, which could heal everything. It is the green light directed by Murdoch. Peace and blessings of El-Elo be upon you, ruler of Malachite. The secret is to understand how to direct his life force to release tension within and to stimulate its vibration to bring all the cells of your physical form into harmony, one with the other. Murdoch, peace and blessings of Anu, El-Elo, be upon him, releases the same healing force within El-Ku, the center of the sons of the green light. Through mind power focuses with full intensity upon the inner world and upon the acceleration and direction of the inner forces. Also employ the use of prayer and meditation, visualization of the presence of the green light, affirmation of the power of his presence, and stimulating through focalizing through a thought force the tremendous life energy within and surrounding the physical form. Through this focalized mind power, the green light forces act like a magnet stimulated within. It begins immediately to attract from the swirling sea of ethers around us. The sweeping current of green light, which is awaiting to be drawn into any reservoir life force. Thus stimulated, the physical form becomes an electromagnetic force field surging with increased power and drawing more and more potent currents into itself from the surrounding ethers. Every molecule, every atom which builds upon the cells of the physical body is built around a minute center of light, which is the spiritual force. It is this infinite small light dot, divine in aspect, life of light from a new Elyon, El, the Most High, the highest, which is the secret power that holds together the atom and the molecule. It is the center of the molecular solar system. The atom is nothing more than a tiny solar system charged with electric and magnetic power. All right, so the power of healing is within everyone through the molecular, atomic, and cellular realities. How do we, that's the process of healing right there, by fueling that cell with an abundance of light. So more chi, more power, like we say in Shaolin, or more power, more chi. So how, if you want to develop more potential and utilize more of your potential, you need to access more chi or more energy, more light, basically. And the green light, if we're going to go over the Watet Head Na Guru meditation, I'm not going to, it's not a good time to do it. It's best to do this meditation in the day, first part of the day, because of how intense it is, the bellows breathing, the domos breathing, so we're going to be pumping our stomach. We went over it before a few times, but it's the Watet Head Na Haru meditation, which basically means the emerald infinite intelligence of the celestial order. So Wajet is emerald, Hay is infinite, Nag is intelligence or wisdom, and Haru is the celestial order. So Wajet Hay Nag Haru. And we'll be saying that throughout the meditation on each pump. So it's 4 pumps, Wajet Hay Nag Haru, or the stomach. While the stomach pumps in and out, we'll be saying Wajet Hay Nag Haru, Wajet Hay Nag Haru. But as we do this, it will allow the energy, the Kundalini energy, if you will, to rise, and we're going to stimulate that energy. It's going to rise up into the solar plexus region, the heart region, and then be located within the throat, the parathyroid and thyroid glands, and then goes back up to the pituitary pineal gland body. And that's where as we exhale out after each one, and we're going to be doing reverse nostril breathing as well, so alternate nostril breathing. So this is how we go. We start by beginning with closing off the right nostril. So we close off the right nostril with the right thumb, while the right index finger is pressed into the first eye center. So the right index finger will be in the center of the eyebrows, while we're holding down the right nostril with the right thumb, and then we take in a breath, and then we exhale with force to clear out the passage of the left nostril. So we breathe in and clear out the left nostril. Then we exchange the left thumb, take the left thumb off the right nostril, and then we place the middle finger on the left nostril, and we do the same for that nostril. So we breathe in the right nostril, then clear that out. Make sure there's no baggage in there, none of that goop from yesterday. We want no boogers and snot flying around while we're doing the meditation, breathing in and out of each nostril. All right, so then after we have breathed out both nostrils, we initiate the chin lock and continue to hold the chin lock throughout the inner side. Chin lock is when we bring the neck up somewhat, we bring the neck down closer to the chest without touching the chest and without leaving too much space, and you'll feel the energy rise up somewhat. If it's not correct, you'll get a slight headache somewhat. And you'll feel it being blocked in a certain area. So you'll get used to it after a while and notice where your neck should be. So we're pressing in at the middle eye, at the first eye, and then we holding down. From here, we now breathing through. We've already done both passages. So now we're going to hold down the right nostril again with the thumb and breathe in for 7 seconds. And then we close off the left nostril while the index finger is holding. We're still at the first eye chakra, the center, and we hold down the left nostril with the middle finger and the right nostril with the thumb. Coming up on the perineum, the space in between the evacuation canal and the procreation organ, or the sex organ, or that small little space called the perineum. So we bring up that space with slight pressure. Don't put too much force into it. Just notice that you got to close that off so the energy won't seep out of that area. And then the tongue is at the roof of the mouth behind the teeth. All right, so now we're going to breathe in, like I said, breathe in through the left nostril, then close it off, breathe in for 7 seconds, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, close it off, and then we go to the Wahe-Nagaru. So we pump the stomach while holding both nostrils, 1. So it'll be 4 pumps, Wahe-Nagaru. While we pump, we can do that as many times as you feel comfortable. Don't knock yourself out, though. This is a very intense exercise. It can get very heated. You'll feel some heat going up, especially if you haven't done strong meditations like this before. But you'll feel the Kundalini energy or the prana energy as heat at first, but it'll start cooling off after you've done this for a couple of days in repetition. It's good to do it for at least 40 days so you really get the full amount of what the potential is capable of doing for you. So you do that, then you, after doing those for 7, 9, or 15, however many pumps you want to do, is 4 pumps in each one. So you Wahe-Nagaru will be 1, Wahe-Nagaru, that's 2. Then you breathe out the right nostril. Then you breathe in, after 7 seconds breathing out, you breathe in the right nostril. You breathe in the right nostril, 7 seconds. Then you close off the right nostril. Close off the right nostril, commence into the Wahe-Nagaru again. Wahe-Nagaru, Wahe-Nagaru, Wahe-Nagaru. And you're saying the emerald, infinite intelligence of the celestial order. And that is you. That's the green light as well, though, El Kandira. So when you're taking in sound and that vibration, as well as the mind and the intent of that sound, you're feeding the cells of the body that green light force, and that acts as a magnet that stimulates within again and begins to immediately attract a swirling sea of ethers around us. And this sweeping current of green light, which is a waiting to be drawn into any reservoir of life force, it stimulates the physical form and becomes an electromagnetic force field, surging with increased power and drawing more and more polar currents into itself from the surrounding ethers. All right, so now this, like I said, this meditation came to me out of Dr. York might have sent it from where he's at. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? You know, that is a good brother. It's, it's like Pops. That's what we call him inside of Nuwabi information. We call him Pops. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. Astral traveling. I was astral traveling yesterday, last night, in my dream state, or not the subconscious realm. For some reason, Michael Jordan. I was at a game or something and walked up to Michael Jordan, sitting behind the bench, and he put his hand out and shook my hand. I was like, dang, he was looking all big and shit, like he was about 280 pounds. Not big like out of shape, but big, like bigger than me anyway. You know what I'm saying? I saw his hand like, dang, that's a big-ass hand with rings all over there. But I shook his hand, you know, and everything. You know, Michael Jordan means he who dares to be like God has descended. Jordan means to descend, and Michael means he who dares to be as God. So he jumped from the free throw line, dared to be like God, and then he descended back. Now, but you know that's what's good. You know, Jordan also is esoterically is the River Jordan, which means to descend, but it's where Jesus, so-called Jesus, was baptized by John the Baptist, and you know the bird or the dove descended out of heaven and came to the River Jordan while so-called Jesus was being baptized. Jesus is the pineal gland being baptized in the third ventricle, or that dark fluid substance there, melanin basically. You know what I mean? So baptized also means to dye or to color. You know what I'm saying? But it also means to be dipped in water or to be dipped in color. So, you know, that being that he descended. But that was a weird dream. Anyway. So that light, that green light is inside of this meditation. That's the infinite intelligence of the celestial order. So after we've done those for a couple of reps, you can do both nostrils. Make sure you end with blowing out of the, exhaling out of the left nostril, because we began with breathing in that nostril, so we will end with blowing out of that nostril to keep it balanced. And then after that, stay in the meditative mode. You bring your hands together and hold your thumb, grab your right thumb with your left hand, and it's called stilling the mind mudra. So you still the mind, and you collect your energy at that point. Your hands will be right there below the belly button where the lower dantian is, basically where the 8 primordial cells are, in the sacral region. And you breathe in the color red, allow it to go up the spine to the pineal gland, and then immediately let it shoot back down from the cleft. After you get to the cleft, you breathe out, allow it to shoot back down to where your hands are located, 1 inch or 2 inches below the belly button. And then you breathe in again, allow it to go to the back of the spine again, and imagine the color black going up the spine, and then shooting out of the bindu spot or the soft spot where we were babies, the soft spot at the top of the head. And imagine the black energy going out of that area and see wings forming, black wings forming. These are healing wings. It's basically melanin forming. You can be the dove's wings coming and going into the, you know, descending out of heaven and enhancing your physical and emotional and mental from the spiritual point of view, enhancing all of those bodies, and then coming and forming around into wings right there out of the bindu spot. So you see this flowing fluid of energy coming directly down and up into that spot, and hold your breath for 81 heartbeats. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, all the way to 81, and then breathe out. When we breathe out, we're going to breathe out the mouth, the sound. If you recall, this chapter is chapter 7. That's El-Hay or El-Hay. So that sound is the heart sound. And we are directing the energy from the heart through higher intent and loving intent, the inner smile, and that loving intent changing it from a fear intent, you know, from this physical reality that is basically based on fear, altering and manipulating or altering that sense into this higher vibration of love and flowing that green, that El-Kadir, that Wajit, you know what I'm saying, Wajit Hey through the infinite intelligence of the celestial order, flowing that down, El-Quds, the pole of that magnetic energy, of that green light, and allowing it to fuse through every cell of your physical body and feel it and give it that power, that light, that green light. And that's healing for yourself, and it also can be utilized as healing for others, but it will also advance one's spiritual evolution by advancing the DNA, all right, through the 4 centers. And those 4 higher centers are from the solar plexus, the throat plexus, the pineal, and the pituitary. So that's the thymus gland, the parathyroid, the thyroid gland, as well as the pituitary gland and the pineal gland that are going to be enhanced, and that's going to give the remaining of the body a healing as well, and all those other glands, the pancreas, the prostate, and adrenal glands will also come back online because we want to be relaxing through I'm going to talk about other aspects of how to elevate and keep elevated and stay elevated throughout the day as well through practical exercises and exercises. All right, so that, I know I went probably a few minutes on just that topic, but the discussion tonight is basically, how to bring about or construct and produce the immortal body of the hidden light. That's the divine being that exists within the water, bring harmony to earth, contributing to the divine soul of the hidden light. And basically that's the Merkabah. That's that vessel, that's the ship, the Nebuchadnezzar. You know what I'm saying? We're looking for a rock to fly around the sky or whatever, or some other ship to come and save us. That's the same thing giving it to a religion. Like, we're looking for an external device to save us from some type of catastrophe or whatnot, when in actuality we are our own saviors. We are the ship. And when I seen it, visualization sometimes is better than just audio. When you hear something, that means, I believe it. I believe what they're saying. But when you see something, you know it somewhat. But when you experience it, that means you're becoming it. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to go through a few things where you can actually see. Then, that's seeing. You hear people talking. We've heard people talking about the Nibiru, and we've heard people talking about ships and everything. Now, like I said, this is from my perception, but I've zoomed in a few times, and I kept looking at it. I'm like, what the heck? That's that thing right there. That's the ship. That's the physical body forming into the ship. So, got to give back. You know what I'm saying? That's what we're here for. So it's not like I said, I ain't going to go sit on the golden orb and be a golden chicken hatching, trying to hatch a golden egg. So I'm going to hatch the egg and let you guys know what's popping. You know what I'm saying? So y'all can get y'all's egg golden too. You know what I'm saying? And be able to the Midas touch out here. Everything turn to gold. Because you are gold and you are God and you are good. All right? Okay, so a few tips and tricks to enhance the telomere. Telomeres are sequences of DNA at the end of chromosomes. They're at the very end of chromosomes. Chromosomes are that X-shaped type thing, you know what I'm saying? That's we can go into that all day. The chromosomes is that's life. It holds it's within the cell, but it holds the DNA. So these chromosomes that we get from our parents, 23 from my mom's, 23 from my pops. We got 46 in there, 4 and 6 equals 1, 0, 1. So 23 and me, like they like to talk about, so that 46 and that 1 is completion. So we're fueling that 1, that divine soul, divine being, over the pineal gland, that two-dimensional, one-dimensional dot. That flat surface, that flat earth, is absorbing and taking in light and sound. It penetrates through that and then personifies this third-dimensional reality into what it is, circles and lines. All right, so some good things to help lengthen telomeres are vitamin B12. It's the energy vitamin. It gives us energy, but it's also good for building nerves. So we need nerves, you know what I'm saying, to be able to have good flow of energy throughout every organ system. All right, so vitamin B12 is found in a lot of animal tissue. I'm a vegetarian, so I supplement. I still need more. I ain't gonna front, so that's why I deep breathe, get that vitamin 12 out the air sometimes. Then blocking it too much. Vitamin D is very important as well. It's anti-inflammatory. You can get vitamin D from direct access from the sun. It's also good to supplement vitamin D. Vitamin D3 is the primary active form of it. Omega-3s, astaxanthin. Astaxanthin is one of the most effective and beneficial antioxidants. It's anti-inflammatory as well, and a DNA protected. It protects the DNA from free radicals, things like that. So it's good to get astaxanthin, ASTAXANTHIN. It comes from a microalgae. I've been popping them for about like a year now. The black too, so it's dark. It's melanin. Like talk about pretty nasty once you pop it open, but it tastes good. It tastes good. Don't listen to it. But astaxanthin crosses both the blood-brain barrier, so that means it goes straight into the body without being blocked by the blood. It goes to the brain as well. Some vitamins don't do that, like beta-carotene and lycopene. And it brings antioxidants and anti-inflammatory protection to the eyes, brain, and the central nervous system. So it protects that. And like I said, we need that central nervous system to be online properly because that's where the energy flows. And also all organ systems and every function of the body is connected to the central nervous system. So the central nervous system is somewhat out of whack or has some type of issue, then an organ will soon enough start to deplete. Fermented foods, probiotics, fermented foods like kefir, good drink is kombucha. They're pretty decent. Friendly bacteria is awesome, you know what I'm saying? Because we need that gut flora. It has the power to keep the immune system strong. And with a strong immune system, we have strong DNA in that. With strong cells, and strong cells lead to strong chromosomes, which leads to advancement in the DNA and the expression of our genetics. We can supplement that, but it's good to get it from food as well, And yeah, with that high fructose and and high fructose corn syrup, processed foods, frozen dinners, and things like that, it eats the friendly flora up in our gut. So it would be wise to, if one hasn't already, to go ahead and get probiotics, friendly bacteria as a supplement, but also to get food items that already are fermented, like soy, things like that. Tempeh, if you're not allergic to those types of food items. All right. Polyphenols are like in grapes, cacao, that's like the chocolate, raw cacao powder is very good. It actually benefits glucose metabolism, so people with diabetes, it helps with them. It benefits cardiovascular health as well. Grapes have resveratrol, and that goes to every cell. It penetrates the center of the cell, the nucleus, and it gives DNA time to repair from free radical damage. So grapes, especially the seeded grapes, the big, thick ones and stuff, that don't break down well in the juices, like green tea has polyphenols in it, and they're good antioxidant, and as well. All right. So folic acid is what it's called for to help strengthen the telomeres. Telomeres, by the way, we break that down in etymology. Telomere or telomere, it means Ta-Ra-Mir, because you change the L to a R, so Ta-Ra-Mir, the land of fire and water. Ta meaning earth, Ra, fire, Mir, water, land of fire and water. So there again, that's the physical body and the energy going up. That telomere is the ends of it's the ends of the DNA strand. And as we age, that DNA, every time that strand divides and makes another, every time the cell divides and makes another one, that the end of that the chromosome gets shorter. sort of like making a copy of one, like you got a sheet of paper with some information on it and keep making a copy of it over and over and over. Soon enough, that copy is not going to have no ink on it. It's going to be shortened. It's not going to be the same after a while. All right. Yeah, those are a few. Curcumin is good as well. Turmeric, it comes from curcumin. It is it's good to help strengthen and lengthen the telomeres as well. So adding it to your diet. And if you haven't read Why Darkness Matters by Dr. Richard King, Dr. Edward Bruce Bynum, and Dr. Ancy Brown, as well as Dr. T. Owens Moore, on pages 59 to 60, it explains how this turmeric helps with Alzheimer's patients as well as patients with dementia due to their being basically introduced to aluminum, and it has blocked certain passages within the synapses to where they have developed these ailments. But turmeric can not only prevent it, it can help cure it. And in third world countries, or other places like foreign countries in the East, as well as South America, they use turmeric in their dishes, and they don't have heart problems like we do in America. They use a lot of those different spices in their meals, and it stirs them away from getting having stress on their cells. Okay. We'll go into 22 signs that we are developing into the immortal body. I'm going to fuse those in with the 22 letters of the Hebrew alphabet as well. And then we're going to go back into some practical exercises and exercises so that, I don't want to lose nobody either. And if you have any questions, just press that button, you know what I'm saying? And I do the best of my ability to answer that question through the ancestors. Because it ain't me answering the question. I tap in. I don't tap out. You know how it is. You know what I'm saying? We got to keep the fight going. There's a lot going on out there, too. But 22 signs that we are developing into our immortal body, or what we can also call the META-MAJI-SHEN, AMON-RA, the divine being that exists within the water, bringing harmony to earth, contributing to the divine soul of the hidden light. All right, so these are the 22 signs that we are advancing into that immortal body. And also, like I said, I'm going to see how these correspond. Actually, this is something that came to me. All right, so the 22 letters of the Hebrew alphabet and how they're going to go in with these 22 signs. All right, so the first sign is that your intuition is developing at a rapid rate, or higher sensory perception. So your intuition will be developing at a rapid rate. Other higher senses like clairvoyance, clairaudience can also be turned on. These higher senses allow you to access information and wisdom that otherwise would be unavailable through the use of your rational mind. Harmonious, lucid dreaming, and out-of-body experiences are also ways to access higher dimensional information. So you'll have your astral traveling or in your lucid dreaming, like out-of-body experiences, you will also be accessing these higher dimensional this input or the external light by way of dreams. This will be basically star code spectrums or star code patterns that are coming from photons, photonic energy, and that's also the green light coming in through the pineal gland or through the soft spot. And going into that L-coupe, that pole of electromagnetic energy, which will be your spine, central nervous system, and going down. And then when you go into the what we call the META-MAJI-SHEN or META-MAJI-SHEN, the divine cycle, which is basically the microcosmic or the macrocosmic orbit within Taoist, traditional Taoist mystic meditative exercises. So that cycle, you'll be bringing in that information, and that information is direct information from the source in place of indirect information from external sources such as the media or friends and friends, family. But we can pick up information through that, but we have to discern and break that down into another reality, which would be intelligence or spiritual. So, but a higher sense of perception would be one of the first. It's one of the things that will develop when we are going into the immortal body. All right, and this correlates with Alif. Alif is the first letter of the Hebrew alphabet. That means leader, strength, power, and it's the symbol is the ox head. So it's also the dual principle that represents all that exists and all that does not exist. It's the positive and negative, life and death. So it's like the yin and yang. So it's that being able to see what it is in the perspective of the physical, and then be able, and also being able to break it down and discern and see what it is in the spiritual. Okay, and that's leader, strength, power, at least. All right, the second one is knowing your soul purpose. So with your higher senses turned on, it has become crystal clear that your soul purpose, what your soul purpose is. Not only do you know what your mission is on earth, but it is now time to fulfill this mission by taking action and walking your path. So you are fulfilling your basic human needs of self-growth and contribution by being on the path of eternal self-actualization and being at the service of others. So you have gained the reality of who you are, and you are walking on the path of who you are by utilizing the higher sense perceptions and not the lower sense perceptions, or basically ego, and what the world has told you who you are. You're now going off of the direct information that we have gained through accessing and that light. You know what I'm saying? That and talking to the DNA through the intelligence. Okay. So knowing your soul purpose, that coincides with Bey. That's B-E-T-H, the second letter of the Hebrew alphabet. And that means container, house, family, and inn. The symbol of is like a house. Basically, it's the symbol of all habitations and receptacles and anything that contains. So knowing your soul purpose, if your high senses turned on, it has become crystal clear what your purpose is. So you now contain your purpose in the physical, the Bey. Remember when we break down Bey, when we lay that B down or whatever on the side, you have two spears, and then you have that line at the bottom, that flat surface at the bottom with the two spears going up on the top. That's equivalent to left and right brain. It was also equivalent to the physical reality on both sides, the physical and spiritual reality. And then when you break them apart, you have 3 and 1, or 1 and 3, and that equates to 13 and 4. And of course, 4 is 1 plus 2 plus 3 equals 1, 2, 3, 4. When we add all that together, we get 10. That goes back to completion. That goes back to the divine being, or the one, who you are. All right. So 3, meeting your soul family. Your frequency has now attracted people within your environment that resonates at your soul levels. When you meet these people, these individuated dual selves, you'll feel a strong and undeniable connection with them. It's like you have met them before from the past life or even in this life, it seems so surreal. Even if they lived on the other side of the world, the spiritual ties that are between you are so strong that years can go by, and that if you meet again sometime, it seems that no time has passed at all. For meeting your soul family. Your soul family will be those individuated dual selves that you might not even really talk to like that on a day-to-day, but you just have a connection to on a spiritual level, on that intelligent level in the mind. You know what I'm saying? In the fourth dimension, astral world, astral plane. And you know who they are, you know what I'm saying, just by that frequency that you have connected with them through. It's a high frequency, it's a high vibration. All right. And the letter that coincides to that is the third letter is Gamel. It is a foot. It means to carry, gather. It's a camel's foot or a camel's leg in the foot. So like you're carrying and travel with that intelligent connection throughout. You know what I'm saying? That spiritual tie. Remember, all things are interconnected by cords. So when you meet those special ones in your life, you'll know it, you'll feel it. It's undeniable. You can't go back on the truth. You know what I'm saying? So Gemel is the activity, is the motion of contained, limited existence or non-existence. It is at least El-Bey. So Gemel is when we put the intuition, and it coincides with your soul purpose. Put that, it is the motion, it's the movement of your intuition and your soul purpose. It's at least El-Bey, the movement. So how when the intuition and basically your soul purpose has connected, eventually you're going to start meeting your soul family because of that movement, the foot that's carrying us around. All right. So 4 is meeting your twin flame or soul mate. You are in a relationship with a person that highlights and enhances your highest qualities, as well as this person will also mirror back to you everything that you need to work on in yourself. This type of relationship thrives on self-growth, contribution, hard giving love, and fulfillment. A necessary step for the manifestation of this relationship is cutting cords of attachments and karmic ties with previous relationships of the past. And we must remember that not all soulmates or twin flames are meant to be romantic partners. So all the soulmates and those so-called twin flames that we're looking for, some people are looking for, they're not necessarily there to be romantic partners. The letter that coincides with this sign is Dalith. Dalith is the door. It's movement to enter. And Dalith is the archetype of the physical existence. So, meeting that soulmate or twin flame by way of the motion that is being carried out through Camille, by way of that is also in completion and in connection with our intuition and our soul purpose. So the intuition comes in, soul purpose, then we start moving, then we find the soul purpose, then we go into our soul, we find our soul family, and then a soul mate or twin flame. All right? And then the twin flame is the archetype of physical existence. So it's like the mold or the template of the physical reality. So that twin flame will help bring about manifestations in the physical world, because the twin flames coming together, the male, female, or whatever their energies are, come together and bring about a connection of electromagnetic energy that will bring about that exchange from spiritual to physical a lot more promptly. All right, so 5. 5 is synchronicities and accelerated manifestation. So So our connection with the universe and life is now evident. You know, we got intuition, we have our soul purpose, we've met a soul family, and we are now, as well as we have met the twin flame, the soulmate. Now synchronicities and accelerated manifestations are taking place. So our questions and answers through synchronicities and hidden messages are easily revealed to us by the way of the power of our higher senses or intuition, discernment. We find messages and answers in books, nature, and even random conversation. As well, you become aware of how strong and powerful your intent has become. Whatever you focus on manifests much faster than ever before through intent, over force. And by way of noticing our higher sense perceptions being elevated. And then actually verbalizing the fact that our intuition or our higher sense perceptions are now elevated by saying you're psychic, eventually the cells are going to become psychic. By saying you're clairaudient, eventually the cells will hear that and have the understanding or understanding that you are clairaudient. And that's what it's going to be. So it's what we tell ourselves first and foremost. So these accelerated manifestations take place by way of the power of our intent. It's basically magic, which they say will, But we will also be finding synchronicities and hidden messages are easily, our questions are answered through the synchronicities and hidden messages. So when we notice that something is in sync with another thing, we need to follow through on that and keep it moving because there is some type of connection that is going to lead us to our answer, basically through the ancestors, because all things are interconnected. So if we take a break and it ain't, we need to keep, in Tai Chi they call it no breaks, no stops. So keeping it moving through the form does bring about the energy properly as it flows through the physical body. All right, so we'll find these messages and answers in books, nature, and even random conversations. So basically we'll be able to decipher answers. We'll be able to get answers through deciphering conversations as well as things in nature, like we were speaking on the birds. Going from right to left is a good omen. If it's going from left to right, it's somewhat what they call a negative omen. Yet, just looking at things in nature, the wind blowing a certain way, the sun setting or rising in a certain area, clouds in a certain point. You look at it and don't look at the big of it, look at the intelligence side of it. And there may be some type of information that can give you a conclusion to a question that has arose. All right, so the letter that coincides with that is He. That is He, and it means to breathe. He, again, El-He, like when we was talking about the spiritual, chapter 7 of the Holy Tablets, which was the spiritual soul, the living soul. Like it's living soul, He, life, living soul. All right, so He is the principle of the universal life. So breathe, to look. It means also to reveal a side, and the symbol is a window. So looking out the window, getting some breath, looking out the window, something is revealed, but it's the principle of universal life. So synchronicities and accelerated manifestations come by way of breathing, come by way of that window being open, the conogram, taking in that light, and then it's something then is revealed to us through the breath, through the intelligence. All right, and that's the principle of universal life. Hey, the fifth letter of the Hebrew alphabet, and that's talking about accelerated manifestations and synchronicities. Our connection to the universal and life is evident when this is taking place. And we have went through those other signs as well. First 4 signs, which are again intuition, soul's purpose, meeting your soul family, and meeting your twin flame or soulmate. then synchronicities and accelerated manifestations be easier to, well, manifestations are much easier once you have become more acquainted with your soul family, as well as soulmate, and your intuition is online. You have your soul purpose. All right, so number 6 is taking responsibility for your own happiness. You've taken responsibility of your own happiness as you embody your higher self, and you realize how powerful you are and how you co-create reality through your thoughts and emotions. You take full responsibility of your own happiness, inner peace, hotep, and you stop blaming other people or the government or even outside or any other type of outside sources. Victimization is a thing of the past, and you take full charge of your healing and your evolutionary process for your elevation, developing into the immortal body. So we now look at the world in a different perspective. We don't point fingers at Mama. We used to always tell me, I said before, you didn't heard it. You point one finger at the world, you got 4 more pointing back at yourself. So I had to take it in the habit of anytime something happened, I just be like, it was meant. You know what I'm saying? I don't even try to say point blame or nothing. I victimize myself. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna be a victim of somebody else, because then we giving the power to that external demon. I call it the devil. It's just like, whatever. It's something. So the devil made me do it. No, nigga, you made me do it. It's me. It's our choice. But if I trip up and I bust my head open, I ain't gonna blame the twig. You know what I'm saying? So there's no reason to look outside of ourselves and try to say something that's made me happy or something that's made me, saying, you see that $100 on the bill, $100 bill on the floor, you pick it up, give thanks. You know what I'm saying? Look, that's my, a lot of people like, Jesus, Lord, the Lord blessed me with a $100 bill on the floor. Take off running and go to church and give them $90, and you got 10 left. You know what I'm saying? Keep that power, put it in your pocket. You did that. It's the interconnection of all. You know what I'm saying? To take responsibility for your own happiness. That is coinciding with the letter VA, V-A-U, and that is a 10th peg. Oh, hey is a man's hand raise your hand to the roof, the cop. All right. Ba means add, secure, and hook. The symbol of a tent peg or hook is the archetype of all fertilizing substances. All right, so taking responsibility for your happiness, you are now secure in your own happiness. You are happy with you. You add no without taking away from your own personal energy. You know what I'm saying? You're not depleting your cellular advancement by complaints or emotional activity that could be, in a low frequency towards the cells. And we're going to go into some of the epigenetics, and speak on that in a few minutes, how epigenetics basically means away from the cell or something that is outside of the cell that is going into the cell. External information is going into the cell that can be advancement or regression. All right. So then we go to number 7, embracing all emotions. This is the 7th sign of the 22 signs that we are developing into our mortal body. We are embracing our emotions. You have now transcended the spiritual bypass that some emotions are bad or negative. Instead, we embrace all emotions. Instead of repressing them, holding them in, you allow them to flow through you. Anger, and compassion, or motivation. Then we can also empathize with others while maintaining the integrity of our own field. So we can feel the pains of others, and we can feel the anger of others, but we don't allow those energies. We can also feel the love of others, the happiness, but we don't allow those energies to integrate into our own field. All right, so right. The letter that coincides with that is Zayin, and it's somatic. It's like a something that you use to feel with. I'm on to hold on 1 minute. All right. I'm back. Part self. So we're embracing all emotions. The letter that coincides with this in the Hebrew alphabet is Zayin. It is a weapon as well. It means weapon, food, and to cut. It is the completed fertilizing act. Vav is the tent peg, is to add superior hook, is the archetype of fertilizing substance. This is the completed fertilizing act. When we embrace all emotions and we learn to manipulate those emotions, like in the inner smile, fusion of the 5 elements, and transforming negative emotions with the inner smile technique. We are then using our strength as a weapon, somewhat, and we are cutting away the ego that tells me to react to certain emotions in those manners that are not healthy for optimal cellular advancement, or basically the development of our immortal body. All right. Number 8. We're going to get through these. We're going to get through them. Bear with me. I know. You're welcome. We got a few more to go. Number 8 is the holographic nature of reality. We see the holographic nature of reality. The holographic nature of reality is basically encoded within you, and you can sense the interconnectedness of everything. Obvious now that we live in a multidimensional matrix and that you have a multidimensional anatomy. You also feel very attracted to sacred geometry. So now we have become aware and conscious that there is an interconnectedness of everything. Even this so-called unanimated glass bottle of kombucha that I'm drinking, Synergy organic kombucha. Hold on, let me take a sip. Yeah, thanks. I say right there. Yeah. All right. It has an electromagnetic field. When the interconnectedness from my mind to go and look at it and take a sip was already there before I even implanted the thought into my physical brain and went and actualized it through a physical reaction of picking it up and taking a sip. It had already knew that I was going to pick it up eventually and take a sip. Although it seems unanimated and it has no life, it is still conscious. You know what I'm saying? And it's connected to everything in this room, just like everything is connected to everything. See that grid in the Matrix. You remember in the Matrix when Neo saw everything, he was like, my name is not Anderson or whatever. And he said his name was Neo. You know what I'm saying? Because he had now developed both lobes of his, the left and right lobes, and the neocortex was now online. All right, the letter that coincides with this chet, CHETH, that's a 10th wall. It is the enclosure of all uninvolved cosmic energy. The enclosure outside is an enclosure outside. That's what it means, enclosure outside, divide, have. All right, so the holographic nature of reality. You can look at that like, you know what I'm saying, we're seeing both sides, but because it's divided, the enclosure is outside and it's divided. So we see things, most people don't see the hologram. They don't have an understanding or understanding of what the holographic reality is or the hologram is. The light message, the light codes, the whole message, holo, or hollow, or Haru, gram, hologram again, ger meaning solid, am meaning mind or brain. So Haru, light, ger, silent, am, mind. So the silent light of the mind. Wisdom, basically, in meditation or in silence. In silence, we gain wisdom. So we bring that in by having silence around and peace, bringing the intelligence natural. All right, so that's it. Going to the ninth sign that we are embodying our immortal body. The ninth sign that we are developing and advancing into our immortal body, our chemical and healing powers. Whether we are utilizing hands-on healing like Reiki or soul retrieval or any other type of healing modality, you have learned how to direct your intent and manipulate energy to remove energetic blockages. We can also easily connect to our higher self and disengage discordant energies that hinder our spiritual growth, and often it will also assist others in their healing and ascension process with our sittings for those 9 higher faculties or 9 abilities. It also equate to the 9 different seats or 9 different cycles, receptors within the tree of life. I put that on the slideshow as well. And you can see that is very similar to the DNA strand as well as the chromosome, and you see how that connects through the cell with those ciphers or ciphers being the cells, and then it's coming out of the X type of formation. But that's the mechabar as well. If you bring both of those energies together from the higher point where you have we have Kether at the top, and then we go to Nakut at the bottom, and bring both of those energies up together, it forms into the Star of David. That's a mechabar, you know what I'm saying? And that mechabar is like a nanodiamond. The nanodiamond be located within the crystalline substance that we call plasma, but that nanodiamond was first it adapted into, it came through those catastrophes that we had billions of years ago by way of comets and meteor showers that came down from different other realms and dimensions and then landed on this planet. But it carried those nanodiamonds that eventually cooled off and developed carbon that also brought about melanin. And that's blood or plasma as well. Remember, blood is the most physical aspect of T, which would be the most physical aspect of melanin. All right, so 9, the 9th letter is T. That means clay basket. The symbol is a clay basket. It means serpent. It also means to surround, contain. It also means mud. It is the symbol of the initial female energy. It's Tet. Tet, the 9th letter of the Hebrew alphabet. Again, serpent means to surround, contain. And we know that the serpent energy, Kundalini energy, is female energy. You know what I'm saying? The Kundalini energy, and as it rises up the spine and meets back with, or as Shakti meets back with Shiva, connects at the pomegranate region, in those cities, those 9 powers are developed, and they begin to enhance, or they begin to come back online. 9th letter, we got 20 more to go. How many do we have left? 11? 12. My bad, my math off. Actually, yeah, now we have 12. After this, 10. So we're on 10, activating our DNA. So activating the DNA is very important. It's one of the most important in this process. This process is like how we would do it is keep putting more light into our morphogenic field. Basically, that's genetic field. Hold up. I just heard a buzz or something. Everything good. No questions? Somebody asked a question. I heard something. I don't see nothing up there. All right, so we're bringing more light into our morphogenic field. The morphogenic field is that change is how we can change. Well, the morphogenic field is basically the cell, but it's on a realm of spiritual reality, the intelligence, that electromagnetic field, and again, like we were speaking in the tabs and El-Bey, Pacific Soul, how we take in that light and it goes into the cellular structure and it builds the cellular structure. Then it hits the physical body, and then when the physical body is back online and healed, that abundance of light or acquiring more light, it advances the higher self or advances the immortal body. All right, so by activating the dormant strands of the DNA that are corresponding to the immortal body, we then, which are like they say is up to 12 different strands, but it's more than that. It's infinite. You know what I'm saying? But by accessing that, then we access other dimensions of consciousness, alternate dimensions, multidimensional reality. Very important to do this. DNA activation is also the key to spiritual ascension, astral travel, soul travel, and the embodiment of the immortal body. So when we have elevated and activated the dormant strands, then it's natural for us to go into a more powerful experience for all the other signs mentioned thus far. And the ones I want to mention, all of those just come in by activating the DNA. That's by putting more light into the cell, you know what I'm saying, by way of meditation and as well as food and water. Remember, gene, the essence is very important. Within the Taoist practices, they call it gene, but it's basically essence parts of it. But the essence comes from air and water that we take in. So the higher the quality of the food, the higher quality of the gene, the higher quality of the air, the higher quality of the gene, as well as water. So the gene is converted into chi, or energy, for the physical body. Then that is then converted into shen, or spirit, or intelligence. So we want to put in the most intelligent food, the most intelligent water and air, so that when it is converted in the physical body, then formed into our external reality, it'll be at the highest vibration, the highest frequency as possible. Although there are things that's taking place, they're trying to blacken the sun, which is impossible. But whatnot, but by DNA activation, we'll go into being able to have access to other cities and these other signs that, we would just be moving into those different realms a lot faster. You know what I mean? All right, so the 10th letter of the Hebrew alphabet is Yod, is a closed hand. So it's a hand. It means a hand, work, to throw, worship. Is the opposite of Alif. It's a steady state, continuity. Remember, Alif represents positive, negative, life and death. It's just a duality. It's two, two splits, two opposites that exist, two opposing forces that complement each other, basically yin and yang. Electromagnetic, but this is a still state. This is hand, 10th letter, and it's a steady state, continuous. But this is what we just talking about, activating your DNA. So this is a permanency, almost, as we speak on it like that. So when we put in that great work, again, Yod means work, we put in that great work, then we get to, then we'll see the ultimate change by way of the divine being, which is the soul. And that divine being or the soul is permanent. So that's a continuous state, basically. And again, it's 10, Yod. And Yod, or 10, is also the number of completion. So, going back to that once again, that's that one. Like in the 23, 43, 46, 1, 0, 11. 11, unconditional self-love. Your fourth strand of DNA corresponds to your heart chakra. So one of the main benefits of DNA activation is being able to access and embody a state of unconditional self-love. So no longer do you feel the necessity to attract love from other people. Instead, you see yourself as an infinite source of love, and a sense of wholeness begins to unfold as you love all aspects of yourself, even your shadow self. That was a bit. All right, so when the fourth strand of the DNA is activated, basically the heart chakra, that is corresponds, of course, to your unconditional love towards self, not just selfish love, you know what I'm saying, but having unconditional love for yourself, even your faults, you know what I'm saying, you learn to embrace them. We actually use those faults as strengths and learn to use them to keep the evolutionary process, if you will, or the future development process of the immortal body in the right flow. Because if it ain't there for a reason, what's it there for? So we, you know what I'm saying, don't cut off your thumb because it's ugly to you, you know what I'm saying? Go and get the gallbladder out or something. They won't go through the process and responsibility of, or they do something, you know, I'm just saying, just don't go taking out things on yourself when it was there for a reason. Learn to embrace those so-called faults and look at them as actually gifts, and that will also help bring about the advancement and development of your immortal body. All right, so number 12. Oh, the letter that coincides with unconditional self-love is CAPH, the pen, palm, or the palm of the hand, means to bend, to allow, to tame, and to open. This is the archetype of receivers. All right, so the bend, allow, tame, and open. Unconditional self-love. So we now are being able to bow to those flaws. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh yeah, I see flaws. We're not worshiping, but we're not going to put too much focus on them. And we have unconditional love, self-love for ourselves in any state. And that love, you know, generated in the heart chakra, put that green in there in the heels, you know what I mean? Heals the cell. So we transform that negative emotion of hate into love. And we breathe out spiritual life. You know, breathe it in and breathe it out. It's all connected to intelligence. All right, so number 12, integrating and transcending your shadow self, or TIPZ. Also, in the Hebrew sense, or well, in Kabbalah, the clip off, the shadow self, basically, is the shadow of the tree of life. And it pertains to the mirror image of the higher self, so it would be the lower self, and then the vibration of frequencies and the feelings and emotions that are obtained and then dispersed by the lower self, or the clip off. The clip off basically is from I think from a Hebrew word klipah, which means the harlot. You know what I'm saying? So like that in the movie The Matrix, you know what I'm saying? The lady in the red dress, the distraction, the physical reality, the lust, the desires of the physical reality. But it's also the representation of Kali, of red, but that's Kundalini energy in its lowest sense, in the lowest vibration, when it hasn't been, I guess, you know, really, when it hasn't been tamed, basically. And you notice the word right here, is tamed. It also means bend, allow, to tame. So when we tame it, then we tame that lower sense. We bring it back up. That black snake rising, like serpent energy is the healing energy of the female energy, and that's TIPZ, the ninth letter. You know what I mean? So that's the symbol of the initial female energy. When it goes up, you properly fuse back into the pineal gland again. That's when the healing powers come on, the alchemical healing powers. All right. Oh, yeah. What was it at? 12, integrating and transcending your shadow self. Yeah, so the shadow self, that's the part of ourself that is running in reverse. Is mainly made up of the archetypes, personas, and complexes. You know, those templates of physical reality. Some examples are the victimized person, it's the tyrant, the perfectionist, you know what I'm saying, the businessman, you know, those people that just got to have it a certain way, you know, but the shadow self is what causes our self-sabotage, causes us to trip up a lot, and then it causes us to create chaos in our life as well. The shadow self is created by making decisions that are not aligned and in tune with our immortal body or the higher self. Shadow self, again, is the mirror image of the higher self, and it manifests as reverse codes in our DNA. So it's like things we tell ourselves that are in a negative state just because the physical senses speaking it to us, or we're sensing these signals through physical operation, then we tell ourselves that, or where the DNA is located within the cellular structure, within the nucleus, then that manifests as reverse codes to our genetics, our true inheritance. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, being the celestial order, or Anunnaki, or, you know what I'm saying, the Nagas, being the Elohim, you know, when we have these things in this physical reality that are telling us negative type of scenarios and giving us this low vibration of information or intelligence or light, then it's the shadow that is the clip off, or the kabit, you know, the lowest realm of the physical self from the ka, the physical body. The kabit is the shadow body. And it runs loose. When it runs loose out there, yeah, it can create some chaos. You know, we've heard of shadow babies. Shadow babies are the babies that are formed when a male and female, or even a male and male, or female have intercourse, and they're not interconnected with true love or with the heart intent, and they don't have a purpose or any type of agreement beforehand, some type of affirmation on a spiritual level, on an intelligent level, what they would like to acquire if it's not a child, procreation. So when they lay down and they just having sex bust off and have an orgasm, then it develops a shadow baby through the shadow self, because that's the mirror image of the higher self. Again, is the shadow self, and the shadow self comes from clip off, like the word in Hebrew means clip off means the harlot. So the harlot deals with lust and desire. So if we're having children, or not children in the sense of a physical baby, when two are operating in the not the procreation, but in the they are operating in the realm of intercourse, and they haven't came and went into a spiritual affirmation like in Tantra, then when the baby is born, this shadow baby is born, it's going to cause chaos in their life or in our life. And I've seen it myself in the past. Didn't know what it was, you know. I didn't know why I got in a car accident. You know, 2 days after I was with this certain female, you know, saying, wow, you know, it wasn't like this, whatever. But yeah, those things take place, you know, lights get turned off, you know what I'm saying, because of these interactions that we don't have affirmations, spiritual affirmation, intelligent affirmation that connected to a more pristine, powerful reality to bring about a higher exchange of energy. All right, so 12th letter of the Hebrew alphabet is Lamid. El is a shepherd's staff. Means to teach, to yoke, means to control, bind, and also to go towards. The principle of the consciousness, connecting links. All right, so integrating and transcending your shadow self. Integrating, you know what I'm saying, connecting. So the the shadow self is created by making decisions that are not in line with the higher self. So we need to transform or transmute that information, those lower vibrating information, that that mutated information, deranged information that's coming from media, mainly European, devil in America, that deranged melanin. Rearrange that deranged melanin to a higher state by seeing through the lies for one and not really feeding into it. For instance, I was walked in at my mom's house. There's no TV here, so they had the news on, and they were talking about LAX, something going on, like it's a threat or something. I think it said something about a threat at LAX, or maybe a terrorist. I didn't really zoom into it like that. I didn't get hypnotized by it. I just looked at it for about 10 seconds. But I read the title, it said LAX on it, LAX. So I just took it in, took a breath, and I relaxed. You know what I'm saying? That's what I saw. That's all I saw. Take a breath. Relax and walk away. You know what I'm saying? So when we go into it, we need to integrate that lower self, those type of inhibitions, those things that actually obstruct the passageway of information, the proper information for ourselves, and then destruct the connection and construction of our immortal body. All right, so going to 13. Frequency resonance. So as we continue to raise our frequency, we notice how some people can fall away from our holographic reality. Remember, this is an illusion. This is a holographic reality. That's one thing that I need to put a little focus on. That's how you start having fun with this thing. You have to have the sense in our higher perception is not as real as it seems to be through our physical sense. The higher senses operate on different frequencies of vibration. But as long as we give power to the lower senses of sight, hearing, smelling, taste, and touch, and we say that this is what it is by way of those senses in that operation, then we lose touch of the immortal body. And that's just basically the shadow self having control and fun, the monkey brain. That's the lower self having the most fun with this reality than we are in the higher senses. But when the higher senses come online, then you can manipulate the energy how you want to, and you're going to have fun with it. You know what I'm saying? Don't look at nothing like it's bad. Because, we've already went through the process of, what was it, number 9, I think, or 8, embracing all emotions. Yeah. So we've just, by embracing emotions, we transcended bad and negative. So we can change that anger into motivation, that drive, you know what I'm saying? Because anger is in the realm of the lower chakra, the root chakra, but also motivation and drive is also in that realm too. But if we deal with the anger, then it's also going to deplete liver function. So we got to turn that anger into acceptance, and then by way of doing that, we accept whatever it is that's causing the anger, then we have motivation to change, you know what I'm saying, whatever the situation is without going into the mode of that external whatever is taking place. You know what I'm saying, being controlled and manipulated by external things. All right, so with that frequency resonance, like we were saying, people that are not at that same frequency start to fall away from your holographic reality, and we began to understand that our frequencies are no longer matching. You know what I mean? So they'll just be falling off like apples, and when apples off an apple tree, when they bang bang, like what the heck happened? Right? So this can happen with a job. It can even happen with the country of our origin. So we thinking we from America, we can lose just because our frequency resonance is starting to rise properly. We'll lose the the feeling of acceptance or agreement to our country of origin. Meaning, like, we're born here, we no longer sense that. We don't even feel that frequency no more. We know where we're from. We're from everywhere. I mean, in general, you have to resonate with this planet for that matter. You know what I'm saying? We go to another dimension and resonate at the frequency of that realm. And then bring it back here, it's waking sleep state or whatever. So in turn, your higher frequency attracts you to a new grid of places, times, things, as well as people that are in line with your frequency and are in tune to and resonate to that frequency. All right, so the letter that coincides with this is MEM, and it's water, blood, or chaos is what it means, and it's the archetype of the maternal creative principle. So frequency resonance, when you know water is the symbol, like the M, the symbol of energy, electromagnetic energy, and that symbol, that's a frequency, basically. It's also a vibration. So thinking about frequency of individuals that are attuned, thinking about someone that's dipping in the same water that you are, drinking the same water, basically. So that's MEM, water, same blood, as well. And we're getting away from chaos because we've already integrated and transcended our shadow self. So now we're away from the chaos and we're bringing in the beauty of our manifestation, order. Ma'at, Ma'at is starts with the letter M, M again is water. All right. Take the letter M and turn it upside down. You have Ma'at, order, truth, balance, love, with equanimity, you know what I'm saying, quality, whatnot. So number 14, the 14th sign that we are developing and advancing into our immortal body is that honest yes and honest no. We are no longer afraid of saying no to other people through our inner guidance, and that we're no longer afraid of other people's reaction when we are true to ourselves by saying no or yes. So every time you're congruent with what you want and what you don't want, you actually gain more power, similar to the men after Ma'at, stabilizing the heart to live in truth. So certain emotions that we react on by saying yes might not, by reacting and saying yes to the emotion, will deplete our power. So when we learn to say no to that emotion, honest no to whatever it may be on the external, then we gain power. For instance, I was speaking on the reason that I went into this when I saw that. So when I was there, certain things take place, and in my mind I said, no, let me find a way to transform and transfer this energy properly. So I said in my mind, I said, nah. All right, so by saying no, we gain more power. The intelligence that, remember, energy cannot be destroyed or created. It is only transformed and transferred. So the energy was transformed and transferred in the higher vibration in place of a lower vibration by going back into the external reality in another sense. So when I said, nah, I don't miss that, I was like, let me do something. I got on the phone, and that's when I started doodling, and I pulled up that right there, the A standing in that picture, came to the forefront. All right, so that instead of it being a shadow baby, that's a light baby. All right, rainbow child. All right, so, and, all right, that's 14. Honest yes and honest no. Being honest with yourself and others. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to try to appear to be humble or spiritual by rejecting what you truly desire in your life either. So if there's certain things that you desire and you feel that it's honest, that you really want it like that, then go and get it. You know what I mean? Don't deny yourself. As long as you know if you're being honest with yourself and you're going to take you. You know what I mean? All right, so the 14th letter is moon. That's seed, air, a sun. The symbol is a fish or a sea. This is the archetype of all individual existence. Moon, N-U-N, or none. The seed, air, or sun. So honest yes, honest no. Plant the seed. right there. And when you plant that seed, it grows into the sun, or sun of Osir said is Haru, which is basically light. So that's Ura, the great light. So as you get that great light, it goes down to that cell, as you plant that seed, by having an honest yes or honest no, and you build more power because you are now congruent with your higher self. You know what I'm saying? That's your mortal body. 15. Harmonious family relationships. Yes, harmonious family relationships. So, if you are going through this enlightenment process, or whatever you want to call it, we were born enlightened. Everybody's enlightened, we just forget. So we get endarkenment. That's still the same thing, though. You know what I'm saying? It's all in the experience. It's all in one day. Some things we do need to be reminded about, So bringing back the mind, bringing back the power, that's the thing. Remind. So mind meaning intelligence, basically, or mind. And Ray means to bring back. Or means light, the light of the mind, so remind. So the light or the vital energy of the mind. All right, so now we have, if you thinking that we are enlightenment or enlightened, and you really want to see what's going on with that enlightenment process, then let's go to your house, or where your mom and dad live, and stay there for a couple of days and see and experience the same family drama to see how you react to it. If you react to it in the same way, then you may not be enlightened. But if you have cleared those cords, like of attachments and those past family ties or karmic ties that are within your family structure, cleared, then you are coming into your immortal body. So you're going to have those same type of family dramas taking place, and that whole type of, those issues or situations that were then have now shifted, and your whole family is now approaching you with more open arms, and they accept you for who you are because you're now accepting them. So by loving your family just for who they are, it'll bring about bring about balance and order. But I noticed I had to start going to my peak's house every time and trying to change something that I had no power over. You know what I'm saying? It's an individual thing. It's their responsibility. Even though I love my people, I love my moms, I love my grandma, I love my sister and all that. It's just that even though I do what I do personally as an individual way to do itself or whatever, I had to take leadership. At least I had to take the head of the bull and really yoke that mojo up. You know what I'm saying? I had to take. And remember, yoke is lamad, the shepherd's staff. So taking that, like in the Kemetic sense, take the shepherd's flail and the crook. The crook is the shepherd's crook and the flail. So you take that staff and you get that animal nature and you bring it in. And then you get that flail and you whip it for whatever the animal side of self, the animal of man. And you go to senses, basically the physical senses and the lower sense perception avenue, and you tame it. You know what I'm saying? Bring that energy back up. So it's hard to go into this walk where we are without having that discipline within self. So I had to learn that I can't go over there and tell them what to eat and what supplements to take if they ain't even tamed below itself. You know what I'm saying? So it's like trying to, shoot a bullseye in the dark with the blindfold on. You already got two things against. And, you're holding a weapon trying to aim at something you can't even see. they don't even see that it's a problem. So how can they operate and change that problem if the senses are telling them otherwise? Tell them go to the doctor, go get this pill, or go to the church, go get this pill. You know what I'm saying? Go to the lawyer, go get this pill. You know what I mean? So they're looking for a magic bean to grow this jack and the beanstalk. And the magic bean is the pineal gland, and the beanstalk is the central nervous system or the spine. The energy going up is the lower self. That's man or Jack. Jack means man. You know what I'm saying? So that's man going up the spine. Spine going back to heaven. You know what I'm saying? But they don't see that magic being and all that. They just, like in that perspective anyway, they see that pill or whatever. So get things, but going and not operating and knocking on that door every day and saying do this, do that, and you can still be with your family and they accept you for who you are. When you go in, they're like, so what are you doing now? And then how's everything? And you let them know, and you ask them how's everything, and you smile and you hug them and love them. But we don't have to go into that argument, that controlling type of I want to fix everybody and everything in the world. First fix self, they're going to gravitate to certain things, but if it's meant for them now, then that's what they're headed to now. So it might take another 100 years, another 1,000, 10,000, 10 billion years, but eventually everyone is going to get back to who they are in their walk. You know what I mean? It's a roller coaster ride. Remember that. So some people might be at the front, some people on the back, some people's in the middle. Everybody's going to go through on that roller coaster ride. Everybody's going to go through the same bumps, the same spins and turns and curls and upside downs and all that high speed stuff. It's just we're going to be at different points of view on that roller coaster ride. And it's all fun. Remember, have fun with this hologram. That's how we stay in peace with it, inner peace, know what's going on with self. So that way, when we have any type of situation going on external, and if it does develop in what we call a low vibration, we know it came from somewhere within, and then our interconnection. But something is going on somewhere on and our interconnectedness with all that's going to cause these dilemmas or these obstructions, these delays. The delay does not mean denied. Also, but harmonious family relationships will help bring about a great change in life. You don't have to just communicate with your family. Just don't communicate certain things to them on a day-to-day like that. And that'll help clear baggage that's within them, because then they have to think and dwell on what you've already taught, or brought to the table. But if we do it every day, that ain't going to affect change. It's going to hurt more so. So harmonious family relationship, very powerful. The letter that coincides with that is Thamik. That's a thorn. Means to grab, hate, protect, support. Is the archetype of female fertility, the opium. So in protection, harmony is protection, basically. When we live in harmony, then that's peace, prosperity, protection, as well as good health. You know what I'm saying? When we are in harmony with self, then we bring about good health to self. So first self, then the source. And when that self is healthy, the things on the external become just as healthy eventually. You know what I'm saying? Be patient with self. Be your own doctor and be your own patient. No guilt, no shame. This is the 16th sign that you are advancing and developing into your immortal body. You have no guilt, no shame. Guilt is a four-letter word, like I say. You know what I'm saying? It's a curse word. Curses to self. No guilt, no shame, no remorse, no regrets. Shame and guilt are the two lowest frequency energetic blockages known to manage. In order to embody our immortal bodies, we need to let go of the identification with shame and guilt. So we have to clear guilt and shame from our genetics or what our inheritance has acquired, basically through the DNA, and release that shame and guilt that has been implanted by society and religion as well. So instead, we choose to embrace the state of joy and bliss and we have become immune to guilt manipulated strategies often used by victims. So we no longer look at guilt in the same state of mind. We embrace the guilt, and then we actually transform the guilt into joy and bliss. So as long as my head is down and I'm walking around, see a lot of that anyway. You know what I'm saying? I used to say, when I first started noticing the cell phone thing people walking around with, I'm like, dang, why are we walking around with our head down? That's a sign of, of weakness. We need to have our head up. And they know that when our head is down, we're also carrying a lot of weight on the spine, and that's going to be causing an obstruction of the energy to go back up to the pineal gland properly. So walking around our head down, that crook in our neck, and looking at these artificial electromagnetic devices, and that's another thing, so we keep allowing that energy to go in, we're going to become more accustomed to the energy going in that manner, but it has to also come back out. So it's good to take the guilt thing out, but that's just that symbolic gesture of our posture. It shows a sign of weakness or a sign of guilt. You know what I'm saying? Even if it's a subconscious thing that's taking place. The letter that coincides with 16th sign is Ayin. That is an eye. The symbol is an eye. It means to watch, to know, or to shade. And this is the illuminating principle behind the act of impregnation. So to watch, to know, or to shade. All right. And this symbol is an eye again. And when we know and we are watching properly and observing properly, then that guilt or that shame is no longer there, because we are noticing what the energy blocks have acquired in our life, and we are now transforming that energy, those blockages, and releasing it. So it no longer will have those. Will no longer be in our blood or through inheritance. A lot of our guilt and shame is through inheritance and by way of DNA. We take on the sins of the father, so to speak, those familiar curses, and we live the same life as what our parents have given us through what we call genetics, which is haphazard and also not necessary. 17 is making decisions in line with your higher self. When we do this, when we make these decisions that are in line with our higher self, and then that coincides with the immortal body. So it will help enhance the immortal body and bring about that power that's needed, because when we are making decisions or we are agreeing to certain reactions that are based on the lower self, it depletes the energy that's going into our genetic or cellular expression. So it won't feed the cells by way of the, Ur-Ra or Allah or the great light. It won't feed the cells the great light to impregnate the cell properly to become what it is in that electromagnetic morphogenic field. Remember, morphogenic is changing up the genes, basically. So when that great light comes in and fuses with the cell properly, and we have an abundance of that light, the great light, a little by way of heart energy or love energy, that green light, that's the bridge from the lower self to the higher self. When it comes in and it's proper and the abundance of it is there, then this will actually bring about that electromagnetic field that's on the external, or that the human body turning into a ship. All right. So instead of making these decisions based on fear or making decisions based on righteousness, competition, or lack, you make decisions that are in line with the immortal body, ultimately with the source will. So now we are aware of our source intention, and that's the law of one, unconditional love, cooperation, perpetual motion, cause and effect, non-judgment, as well as free will. You know what I'm saying? So we now are basically at one with all. You know, we deal with the synchronicities that come from all, and we also deal with the singularity of self, but we know the source and self are one. So even though we all have free will and can ultimately go against the source, our will, we are unconditionally loved. So you are now aware and conscious that making these decisions will then trigger the law of cause and effect and create that karmic imprint to remind us we must heal that karmic miasm or that karmic burn at some point. You know what I'm saying? So now that we have went through those other phases, we now see that by making decisions that are in line with the higher self, we now improve in our cooperation with others by noticing that all are equal and we no longer are judging. You know what I'm saying? I used to say judgmental, but judgmental is just looking at the word means to judge one's mind, so that's judging self. So we got to judge ourselves and like, what's going on with myself? Why am I looking at this other person all the time, trying to put blame on them or say something wrong with them? What's wrong with me that I need to be looking at other people and talking about them? You know what I'm saying? We look at others to try to accommodate, to try to pretty much justify something that's going on in my life, and we talk about them instead. I got to look at my faults. I don't want to look at nobody else's, because then I'm going to pick up their faults and it might even be worse through that karmic, you know what I'm saying? So eventually we do have to look at the law of what we call cause and effect. You know what I'm saying? Because it happens most of the time unknowingly and unconsciously because of the reactive emotional mind. So when we take in the aspect of making decisions that are in line with the higher self, then we will no longer have those karmic disorders or chaos through those shadow babies, basically. The letter that coincides with that is K. That's an open mouth. It means it means the edge open to blow or scatter. It's the same as chest as far as the what it represents is as the chest is the enclosure of all uninvolved cosmic energy. So the cosmic energy being enclosed, but it means to open, blow, scatter. The edge symbol of open mouth. So making decisions that are in line with our higher self, the immortal body. It will, that's knowing the edge, knowing the ledge, getting everything together, knowing that there is an infinite exchange and interconnection of all things in all people, persons, places. All right, 18. Inner and outer abundance. Inner and outer abundance, lack of limitation or thing of our past. You now embody the state of absolute inner abundance, and that's reflected unto your holographic reality. You no longer seek to extract love, approval, or any type of appreciation from other people because you are the source of that love. Happiness is within you, inner happiness, hotel, inner peace. As well, you have now transcended the spiritual bypass that money is evil, and you know that money is just energy like all things that are in this physical arena are constant. So you enjoy financial and you use your abundance to create a more harmonious reality for yourself and for others. So now you have inner and outer abundance. This is another sign to you of you have advanced and are developing into your immortal body. It's the 18th sign. You have inner and outer abundance. You now know that you lack limitations, and anything that you manifest, anything that you wish to acquire, manifests a lot faster. Remember that. That's like third, fourth, no, sixth. Which one is it? Say, it's not that one. It was like 5. Yeah, accelerated manifestations and synchronicities, but This is 18. Inner and outer abundance. So you knowing that you can manifest at a lot more rapid pace. Outer abundance is easier to access, but you use your abundance to create a harmonious reality for others as well as yourself. Service to others, not service to self. The letter that coincides with that in the Hebrew alphabet is society. That is it means a man. It's a man on the side. The symbol is a man on the side leaning down. It means to wait, chase, snare, right? Symbol of a womanhood. A symbol of womanhood in the social sense. But it means to wait, chase, snare, or hunt. Society. And that is inner and outer abundance. And so patience, then we go after it, and then we get it, the snare, you know what I'm saying? Inner and outer abundance. Like I said, I'm just tying these in with the Hebrew alphabet. It seems like they would coincide 22 and 22, you know. All right, so 19 is the mind unplugged from the matrix. So one of the signs that you are now developing and advancing to your immortal body is that your mind has been unplugged from so-called matrix of this reality, the mold of this reality, and you can clearly see the hidden agenda by way of Hegelian dialect or the problem, reaction, solution type of scenarios that takes place within media and the world in general. So you can clearly see through that hidden agenda, and we see those who are trying to control the planet or whatever, you know, whatever they call it, Illuminati. You know that the Illuminati ain't real. The Illuminati mean children of light. You know what I'm saying? That's my sign. That's Prairie May. How you said. Forgive me if it's wrong, but you know, children of light, children of the sun. So everybody, you got a pomegranate, then you're a children of light. You take it as, you know what I'm saying? So there's no such thing as the Illuminati in that realm, you know what I'm saying? But as far as what they are, these elites, I call them littles, are doing, yeah, you know, but you see through that now, you know, so you unplug from that. It no longer resonates to you in the sense of fear with what the media is trying to tell us. That's the official, quote-unquote, story. So your inner truth is the true detector of what is coming and going. And you have now become immune to those lower frequency strategies and those implants that constantly try to tell us that we are nothing and that we are mindless bottom eaters. You know what I'm saying? Or mindless eaters. You know what I'm saying? And you're no longer one of those, what they call shadow. You know what I'm saying? That herd mentality. But you're moving on your own. You have tamed the ox. You yoked them in with that shepherd staff. And you're now moving in your own sovereign capacity, true self, your mortal body. All right? The letter that coincides with this is COPH, QOPH, and with the sun on the horizon. It means condensed circle, time, sun, or horizon. All right, so, you know what I'm saying? Being unplugged from the matrix brings you back into your Haru rising. The light coming in, forming the connection of both realms, or Haru Kati. You know what I'm saying? Haru Kati is the light of two realms, the light of both realms, the Hermakat, the Sphinx, what they call the Sphinx. You know what I'm saying? But that's that Haru Makat, that's the embodiment, that's the higher self and the lower self coming in balance. You know what I'm saying? Coming into one body. You know, so when your mind is unplugged from this physical reality or this illusion, this Maya, the matrix, then we come into that reality of the light shining, you know what I'm saying, within, coming onto the horizon. So the light coming into the sun, then going up, going into the heart region, then going up, horizon. 20 is we are no longer influenced by idolatry or things on the external, so or controlled by anything that we like. We awaken to our own co-creative powers and our God-like nature and abilities, our higher senses of the immortal body. So we no longer put other people on the pedestal. We see our inner guru, you know, the inner wisdom, the direct information, and that precedes any external guru or external guide. And we see that the teachers that are available are reflections of our own unlimited potential. And we notice that the interconnection is there. And we don't, we don't go out and become some type of vain, disrespectful person either. We still stay humble within that walk and be true to yourself through love and higher intent. But notice that all people, all things, persons, places, events are interconnected, and nothing is higher than the other. We are all reflections of each other. So these forces, of your worthiness and deservedness drive you to achieve whatever your mind sets out to. And then you become the master of your own reality, or you are your own group, you know what I'm saying? And that goes back to Wajite Nakaru, you know what I'm saying? So Nakaru basically is, again, the wide celestial order. That's that light coming in. Wajite is the emerald light. K is infinite, so the infinite emerald light of the celestial order is coming in direct to you. That's your direct information. So when you get in that information directly from source will, you no longer have to be dependent on external or indirect information that's coming from perceptions of others. You know what I'm saying? You can get information, but then, do what you do with it. This is it's fun. What you want to do with it. Imagination. You know what I'm saying? Use your imagination. Imagination. From the collective, you will what you want out of the inner intelligence. You know what I'm saying? And on a high vibration, when it's accessed properly, you get some beautiful gifts outside of it. So don't worship Jesus on the cross, and don't worship whoever it is in front of you giving you any type of information, like me or whoever it may be. Don't worship me. I'm just a reflection of you. You know what I'm saying? I'm just giving you some information that is based on something that you were seeking in the first place. So I'm just like you're here listening or whatnot. You're a reflection of me, because I'm a Gemini and I like to talk. Now, whatever. Yeah, so, you know what I mean? I give thanks, you know what I mean? All right. And the letter that coincides with giving up adultery or bye-bye to that type of reality is Resh, 20th letter of the Hebrew alphabet, and that is the head of man. So it's first, beginning, and top. I mean, you can already see that. So Resh being the head, that means taking control of your own consciousness and awareness. So instead of us going outside of ourselves and trying to find some type of external information or external happiness or worshiping something outside of ourselves, we see ourselves as being first in the beginning at the top. All right. So 21, overflowing with gratitude. Yes, gratitude. Gratitude is your attitude. So the sense of lack has become alien to us instead of us trying to count, instead of Instead, instead of counting our curses, we count our blessings. So the feeling of gratitude multiplies whatever you have and brings more positive exchanges in our reality. So we are also become grateful and have gratitude for any type of setbacks or any type of negative scenarios that may occur. So we learn to embrace and hug all types of energies from lower and higher or planes of awareness and consciousness. And we use all those arenas, even on the lower vibration, as room and opportunity to grow. All right. The letter that coincides with that is Shen. That is two front teeth. Shen means sharp teeth, or to sharpen it also means spirit or the spirit of God. All right. So when we're overflowing with gratitude, then we are in tune with the spirit of God, Shen. Remember when we were talking about Jing, Chi, and Shen, we take in the essence, good quality food and air, convert it to Chi, then we convert, Chi is energy, and then we convert that Chi or that energy into Shen, and that develops that immortal body, that external, well, not external, but that internal Merkaba that is utilized as a ship to be able to transport one's higher self or the immortal body to other planes of awareness at any given moment. All right. 22. Last but not least, take yourself too seriously. You know what I'm saying? That's why I always say, first thing I say when I start class, and it's the orientation, I always say, let's have fun with Tai Chi. Don't make it to where I'm not getting this posture right or whatever. I can't stand right in this pose, this foot right here. Don't make it to where it's a job. You know what I'm saying? Just have fun with the breathing and the movement. You know what I'm saying? It makes everything a lot easier when we have fun and we don't try to be so complacent in our discipline. Be disciplined, but yet learn to take a day or time to have a smile on your face. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't have to be because something outside of you is pulling into your template or into your field and trying to, bring about that emotion. It's just because you generally have love for self and you know that you cannot walk around with that stiff face all day. You know what I'm saying? It's going to cause some stress marks in the jaws and eyes. So smile every once in a while, bring that smile of energy in there and have a good sense of humor. Laugh at our mistakes, because that's a learning process. You know what I'm saying? So find the inner child and allow the inner child to come out and do, those creative things that the child has the capability of doing. All right, so the letter that coincides with that is the 22nd letter in the Hebrew alphabet is Tav, and that is 2 cross sticks. That's a mark, sign, and signature. Those 2 cross sticks, again, that's the chromosome. You know what I mean? So the chromosome holds the DNA, so it's from the cell to the chromosome to the DNA. So that when we take ourselves too seriously, that brings stress. And when we are stressed, that binds to the cellular growth and causes to actually restrict the passage of information to the nucleus of the cell where the DNA is and where our genetics or genes are, to where we can develop a morphogenetic field or the immortal body, basically. You know what I'm saying? And that immortal body, again, is the divine being that exists within the water, bringing harmony to earth, contributing to the divine soul of the hidden light, the immortal body, AMON-RA. All right. So that's 22. That was the last one. So those are the 22 signs that you are developing and advancing into your immortal body. You know what I'm saying? Good things. There's something, one of my sisters was, I think somebody was in the house looking at something on the internet one day, And came up on my phone, I was like 22 signs that you're embodying the higher self. I was like, hold on. This, I listened to it a couple of times. I was like, dang, this is the immortal body right here. So I just put the 22 letters of the Hebrew alphabet that correspond to each sign, the 22 signs, and show how that flux of energy through the letter system of the Hebrew alphabet also infuses into that the movements of the 22 signs that we are building and developing into that immortal body. This is one of those things, you know what I'm saying? I get thanks, you know what I'm saying? It's peace. All right. So from there, we're going to go into a little bit of the epigenetics, what I was speaking on. Oh, well, beforehand, got a few more minutes. I may not even get into the epigenetics. Yeah. So we do the also we could do the developing the medical bar through movement and intent. We just form our hands into a triangle, the mystic pyramid. And first we sitting in meditation or sitting in the chair. We just bring our hands, circle our hands over our head and form the Buddha prayer hands, or not the Hotep hands, and bring them down in front of the nose to the heart chakra region, where your thumbs, the base of your thumbs are located into the sternum area. Take a breath in and breathe out. Take another breath, 6, 3, 6, breathe in 6. Hold for 3 in the center, then breathe out to 6. Same as all meditative exercises. Now we're going to open our hands, keeping the thumb and the index fingers connected and form that mystic pyramid, bringing them up over the head. And we're going to breathe in the 6, and then we breathe out A-U-M. So we breathe in, then breathe out while imagine the color purple at the top. Then we come down to the heart chakra region while still holding that breath, and we breathe out So the top one will be high, big then we go to the middle, and that'll be the color green at the heart chakra region. Then we invert the hands to where the thumb and the index finger are still connected, but they're pointing down to the earth, and we go to the root chakra, and we go So the colors are purple on the top, green at the heart chakra region, and then red at the root chakra. You breathe in and hold the breath on all three accounts. So we breathe in at the top, and we exert out the sound, and go to the heart region, color green. Then invert the hands, and we go and the will be the longest vibration, since it's dealing with the lowest chakra region. The physical reality, as you know, if you look at the rainbow, the red color is the one that we see the most abundant. We see that as far as in the physical sense, we see the red. So that's the lowest color, the lowest vibration frequency. So that when we sound it out, it'll be and the color of red will be the longest. So at the top it's A-U-M, and the color's purple. At the heart region it's green, the sound is ah. Then at the root chakra region, the sound is and the color is red. All right, and invert the hands. You can do that 3 times, 6 times, 12, however you feel, but that will help in bringing about that immortal body of the hidden light by way of intent and movement. All right, so epigenetics, again, the genes have a lot to do with the immortal body. Believe it or not, believe it or know it. So if we are, what they say in epigenetics, well, beforehand, medical science thought that our genes were governed by heredity. You know what I'm saying? But now they know that we are not victims of or at the mercy of our genes or the genetic inheritance. So we can't blame our bald heads, our bad health or bad breath, our fears, or any type of misfortunes on our genes. And basically through the study of epigenetics, again, epigenetics basically means external or anything that's away from the gene. They've learned that or discovered that individually we are at the driver's seat of our advancement or regression of our cellular or genetic expression. So epigenetics basically means, again, beyond the cell, or gene meaning source, so beyond the source. So that means some type of external device that can manipulate and alter the genetic expression. So it relates to the external mechanisms that can govern the behavior of the cell's growth or any particular organism that is in conjunction with the cell. All right, so in the past, conventional science, again, medical science has told us that we had no control of our genetics and that all of our traits were inherited by way of our genes, and there was no way of altering this function at all. So outright, they were saying that if my father had high blood pressure, I'm going to have high blood pressure. My mother had diabetes, and I'm going to have diabetes, and then we tell ourselves that's what it is. But we have found that that's no longer true. All right, so how's this? So basically, now we know that all of these traits are not inherited by our parents and by way of a gene, and that's not taking place. So we look at it like this: we have 50 to 100 trillion cells that composes this physical body. So all of the genetic material or information is located within the nucleus of the cell, right? That's the center of the cell. So due to scientific thought that, back in the day, they thought that the nucleus was the brain of the cell, and that everything that was taking place within the cell behavior was orchestrated by the nucleus. But now through advanced studies in epigenetics, they have found that, or the medical scientists have found that the nucleus is not truly the holder of, or the orchestrator of the cellular behavior, and basically is just the holder and organizer of information. It catalogs the genetic information because that's DNA is within the nucleus of the cell. So it's just like a library. It's basically taking in the information and equalizing it. So knowing that if you take the brain out of a living organism, then the body dies, right? So it was a doctor named Bruce Lipton who was doing stem cell research, and he removed the nucleus of the cell and found that the cell was completely unaffected by the removal of the nucleus, and it actually stayed alive and functioned in the same manner as when the nucleus was attached. So by this observation, he concluded that the nucleus was not the brain of the cell. Although it does contain the DNA, it does not need that. Well, the DNA is in the nucleus, but the DNA needs an external signal to determine which DNA to run. So therefore, the gene was not dictating our complete physical expression, because the genes are within the DNA. The genetics are within the DNA. So again, the nucleus does have the blueprint of the DNA within it, and it does create life, yet it needs some type of external input to manifest when you look at it like this, roughly 80% of our genes are affected in this manner, and 20% is genetic. So that 20% is like our hair, skin, our eyes, and stuff like that, our physical appearance, basically. The other 80% is affected by some type of external means or external input. So, in essence, our genes don't control our behavior or biology. The cellular membrane, or the outer skin, that contains the cellular membrane is the outer skin of the cell. It's like got the cell, the watery substance around it, or in the middle, and then the nucleus in the center. Then you have the fatty substance around it. That's the cellular membrane. Within that, it contains what is called the integral membrane proteins. These are thousands of little microscopic antennas that are divided into two separate groups called receptors and effectors. These receptors and effectors penetrate through the fatty structures of the membrane so that they are then located within the exterior and the interior of the cells. So they're on both sides of the cell. The receptors receive the signals from the external reality, and then it communicates the signals to the corresponding effector for that signal. Then, in turn, the effector reacts to the signal by transmitting the signal to the nucleus of the cell, where our genetic information is held. So our DNA is enclosed in a protein sheath and is dormant until it receives the signal for its expression. So when the receptor receives the signal, it sends the signal again to the corresponding effector, and then the effector reacts to the signal by transmitting that signal to the nucleus of the cell where our DNA is, or genetic information. All right, so when it receives the right signal, the DNA then replicates into an RNA molecule, and it travels out of the nucleus, forming new genetic expression. Therefore, the signals that the cell receives is mainly determined by external factors. So that's by way of skin, eyes, ears, and all of our senses, which processes the signal, then transmits it to the cell. And therefore, transmits it to the nucleus where our genetic information is, DNA. So when the membrane receives the signal, then it sends it to the nucleus of the cell. So the behavior of the cell is determined completely by some type of external input. So although the signal is not necessarily the deciding factor of our genetic expression, so even though we are getting information from external factors, it is not the deciding factor of our genetic expression. What is meant by that is that some of the most common signals like nutrients, water, oxygen, and hormones are very important and present. It is actually the mind, our intent, our perception that has the power to override any type of signal that reaches the membrane and in turn transmits that signal to the nucleus. So by way of the filter of our mind, or the way we perceive the signal for the world, the environment around us, or even our own life, this determines what type of signal reaches the cellular membrane, and then in turn reaches the nucleus, and then the DNA and our genetic expression that is formulating the electromagnetic field or the immortal body. So whatever the type of signal that reaches the cellular membrane, if we perceive it to be anger, hate, frustration, stress, dissatisfaction, then this will reflect into the cellular environment, causing degeneration by way of stress. So due to not being able to utilize, and due to that, then the cell won't be able to utilize and absorb those physical signals such as the water, the nutrients properly, to assimilate them into the cellular environment for cellular advancement, basically for advancement and development of the immortal body. So when we alter our perception to an internal, peaceful, or hatep, aware and mindful, accepting state of mind, this will automatically allow our genetic expression to elevate, and in the result, it improves our health mentally, emotionally, and physically by way of being attuned and in tune to the higher intelligence. So it also assists in maximizing proper nutrition, assimilation from food, water, and oxygen. So the external signal does come first. It is what we intake, or the input, basically what we tell ourselves by way of the senses, that determines our ultimate genetic expression. So it is imperative, it is very important, that we don't hold on to the belief system that certain health issues or life problems are caused by genetic inheritance. We must observe the external signals that may be causing health problems, be they emotional, mental, or physical. Remember, that's intelligence coming in through the external input, the external signal. And then as we perceive these signals as being good or bad, that's what affects the cellular integrity, alters the genetic expression. So therefore, we can rewrite our genes into a healthy environment or rewrite them into a more damaging environment. So how we perceive ourselves as well as others around us will advance or will regress our cellular expression or our genetic expression into a higher, more evolved, if you will, mortal body. All right, so these are some ways to advance our cellular expression. Went over a few earlier. Try to get all these in. We got a few more minutes, but some basic strategies for enhancing our cellular health and genetics and the potential of our genetics and activating those dormant DNA. So these are very easy techniques. So first and foremost, meditative and awareness cultivating techniques for exercises such as yoga, tai chi, qigong, as well as mindfulness throughout the day. This will help develop our perception to make us less reactive emotionally and impulsive. This will open up the parasympathetic nervous system. So when we are in the in the realm of the parasympathetic nervous system, then we are in the relaxation response, and that's our healing and repair response as well as the peace-based mechanism. So in this modern day reality, we are almost always forced to lean towards the sympathetic nervous system on a day-to-day, and this is the emergency fight or flight response. This may be necessary in a time of crisis, yet when it is not useful or purposeful, it can be damaging to the cells and in turn to our DNA. And that's where the genetic expression is. So it can cause many health problems within the hypothalamus pituitary adrenal axis, which then degenerates the cellular health. The reason being, the pituitary will produce unneeded adrenaline within the bloodstream, and this, as well as slowing down or even stopping the respiratory system and the digestive system, and as well as speeding up blood circulation and causing blood to coagulate, because the body thinks it has to heal from being cut or hit or something when it's not. So this can stress the cells, which in turn selects DNA that reflects whatever dynamic of stress that is introduced to. So we need to step back and observe whatever may be causing this stress and develop the characteristics of being able to control the negative emotional stimulus and being less attached to them. And this is mindfulness and meditative type of exercises that will elevate our genetic expression that, and then in turn will allow the DNA to expand and our outer reality to manifest in accordance to the inner peaceful reality. Another good way to advance and enhance our cellular expression is to get out into nature, like the mountains, the beach, heavily wooded areas, walking on those paths in the woods or park, going outside when there's still dew on the ground, on the grass, and meditating or doing qigong, tai chi or something, or just being outside walking. But this will allow us to breathe in a higher concentration of negative ions, which is imperative for the activation of oxygen in general. Negative ions are also anti-inflammatory. They support the immune system and enhance hormone communication. When we deal with natural ecosystems that have up to 50,000 units of negative ions per cubic centimeter, so that like going to the beach or mountains or those heavily wooded areas, almost like 50,000 units of negative ions per cubic centimeters. So that's a lot of good breathing going on right there, and that's a lot of good stimulating of the cells and then genetic development. So that development builds, again, it helps construct the electromagnetic field or the electromagnetic body that would be the immortal body, or that ship, you know what I'm saying, that is holding or encased around the immortal body. Keeping you strong, you know what I'm saying, keeping you healthy. All right, so metropolitan areas have, or cities have, like somewhere between 10,000 and 20,000 units of negative ions per cubic square centimeter. You know what I'm saying? So in the cities, it's a little less. But indoors, recirculated or recycled air, basically from what they call central air units, like in office buildings, houses, factories. The negative ion rate could be at 100 units of negative ions per cubic centimeter. And that can easily be classified as slow suffocation, especially due to the way we shallow breathe and due to the lack of activating oxygen. The 100 units of negative ions per cubic centimeter, we're not going to be activating a lot of oxygen to the body properly, and that's going to cause the organs first to be suffocated due to the lack of oxygen, then the brain, and then eventually, the whole system shuts down, system